we are back with another update. This update is sponsored by Getting Athletes. Hey y'all, we are back with another dense update. This update is sponsored by
Biomax Peptides, the scalpel, precise, targeted, working with your body, not overriding it. Support for recovery, better sleep, more control over appetite and body composition, hair health. We can even fix your limp biscuit.
We are now just 17 days away from the kickoff of the 20th CrossFit Games. Dave Castro giving us some teasers on his Instagram. I noticed the other day he was on site at the pool and he had an athlete swimming. The athlete dove in. He called the no rep. And then it also showed the athlete swimming to the wall, tapping the wall, turning and swimming back, not doing the flip turn. And on Friday night's CrossFit Games update show, Savon Matosian, Taylor Self, Seth Page, and guest Colton Mertens were talking about this. They pulled up the stories, and as they went through them,
Hey, he reached up there like there's going to be something you have to touch. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Looked like both hands had to touch or something on top.
Yeah, that was interesting. Let's watch that one more time.
he posted several stories up in the mountains. The first one in the mountains, the terrain looks similar to the ranch. However, Savon points out that there's a body of water there, and he knows that that's not the ranch.
Where's that?
I don't recognize where that was at.
I think that was Red Barn.
Yeah, that body of water right there, you cannot see that from Dave's ranch. And you can see the fog is burnt off.
So what do? Of course, I jump on Google Maps and I'm pulling it up. I'm looking around. So just off to the west is the coast. Right before the coast, there's a park called Kirby Park, and there's a body of water. But the mountains were on the wrong side. So I was like, okay, that can't be it. So then I go look over at Morgan Hill, and there are quite a few reservoirs and lakes around the Morgan Hill area. There's a potential of a few different locations it could be. There's Coyote Lake, there's Anderson Lake. There's two different reservoirs on the west side of the 101. My guess, if I had to guess, is it's going to be Anderson Lake. There's a park just overlooking Anderson Lake, and it has some trails. And when I looked at the photographs, some of them were grassy. We know Dave did say that the biking would be on grass. So that is my guess. On the same update show, the guys were talking about run distance and what they thought would be the longest run.
If they're running at the ranch, which I would imagine they are, the course is probably 7 to 10K. When they doubled it in 2020, it was 10K. That's a road, and I don't think they'd run.
They could run in those fields. They could run in the back.
There's fences.
He could just, they're just cattle fences. They're so easy to fucking pull down and let people run through. I would not be surprised. I would not.
At Mayhem in 2019, they had us climb over fences on their 5-mile trail run. They built those little A-frame steps over them.
But then the very next story that Dave had posted was from the ranch. Doug was on the ranch with him. There were some cones marked. You don't know. We don't know. I could see them doing a very long run up the mountain event as the days grow closer. I'm sure that more events and more details will be released, but for now, it's just purely speculation. Dave picked back up with the interviews, recently had Quinn Robinson on, and Quinn Robinson was on site with Jason Hopper at CrossFit Crash in Spartanburg to do a game simulation training together. And everybody always wonders what Dave pays attention to and what Dave doesn't pay attention to, but he knew Taylor was there because he asked about that.
Did Taylor go by there?
Yeah, Taylor's been a huge help all weekend. He's been at every single session coaching us and helping with setup, breakdown. He's a phenomenal coach. I've never had a coach.
That's cool to hear because he comes off like such an asshole.
He's abrasive. He has an abrasive personality, but he is so stinking helpful and really intelligent. So it's been a great weekend for me getting coached up by him.
He also had on rookie athlete
Bergros.
Björnsdóttir.
Björnsdóttir. Yeah. I'm not going to try that one.
She mentioned that she is currently in Las Vegas training with Alex Kazan. She was a CrossFit Games teen athlete in 2022, 23, and 24. And Dave pointed out something that I thought was kind of cool. 1/3 of the athletes on the female side, so 10 of the 30, have all been previous teen CrossFit Games athletes. And I think he said it was something like 7 or 8 for the men.
When we created the teenage division, we talked about, hey, one day the teenage division will be the feeder and the birthplace, essentially, of future individual athletes.
Dave also leaked another possible movement for the games. The Girls Unfiltered, Alex Gazan, Fista Goffi, Alexis Raptis, were all on with James Hobart on the CrossFit podcast. And all of a sudden you see the screen open up, Matt Bischel sitting there behind the camera. And then Dave, you could hear him in the background, weighted backflips.
Actually, have you?
But I like it. I'm surprised it's not like a run or something.
Backflips for the women. What's going to be the weight for the weighted backflips?
That would be crazy. I clipped that, and Ariel Lowen had commented. She actually commented a few times. I'm down. I approve. Sign me up. I've waited my whole life for this moment. So it's safe to say Ariel Lowen is in favor of backflips. Recently, Taylor and Bryson had taught themselves how to do a backflip, and they got it within 4 tries. On a video that Mason Startup did with them when he was visiting, we do know there will be something new. He has said there will be new movements, and that has never been done before. I think Alex said she thought he was trolling them, but
he's totally trolling us.
He usually doesn't say it unless it's going to be a possibility. So I saw that Rich Froning redid the 2013 swim event, and this video was really cool. So at the bottom of the screen, it showed him in the lap pool doing the workout, getting out, doing the bar muscle ups. And then he had the split screens up top of the different athletes of the actual event running at the same time. And he wanted to test to see if he could beat his time from back then, which of course he did. But they had the drone in the air. There were 2 camera guys walking around the pool filming him. It was pretty cool. It's already got tons of views, so I'm sure most of you have seen it. But I like the idea of retesting events because, like Dave had said, with the Hopper event, the fastest guy at the very first CrossFit Games was somewhere in the 13-minute mark. But the winner of that event in 2014 when they repeated it, or maybe it was 2013.
Josh Bridges did it in 8:33, which was the fastest time. How many people in the field do you think will go under 8:33?
I think there would be a good amount of people that goes under 8:33.
And so that's a significant difference. I can only imagine what the times are going to be like when they do it this year. And speaking of Mayhem, I noticed that the Mayhem Athlete YouTube channel recently put out a podcast. Angelo DiCicco was a guest there, and they talked about where they thought the sport of CrossFit was headed. Now, the beginning of the conversation is just a lot of stuff about Angelo and what he's been up to and his transition from being a firefighter to being a coach. And now he's the director of Mayhem Hunt. And then about 20 minutes in, they really get into the nuts and bolts of the conversation in regards to the sport of fitness itself. And there were some pretty interesting takes.
I would probably be an extremist and I would get fired right away for it. I would release all the tests for the CrossFit Games before.
When?
January? But not in January, no. But before the...
When?
Probably 2 months out.
Okay.
I would let them train for it and say, if you want to be the fittest, it's not about being unknowable. It's about who can prepare for these tests and execute them on game day.
I mean, you can prepare an athlete all you want for a football game, but you have no idea what plays are going to be played. That's the athlete's job and the coach's job to prepare for those things.
What was the origin of the phrase unknown and unknowable?
However, sport is not unknown, unknowable, nor has it ever been.
Because right? And what do you say to those OGs that are like, but now you're not doing CrossFit?
There's a difference between the sport of fitness and CrossFit.
I think everyone agrees with that.
They're worried about athletes looking stupid doing single unders. That example was just dumb because that was something that Ball's programmed, not Dave. And I think they're more so talking about Dave because then Brandon says...
Again, maybe I'm being a pessimist now. If the person that's programming the games doesn't know what the athletes can do, is that not a problem?
It's huge.
So I think that's what I mean by counseling, getting a bunch of counsel together.
And then he just lost me. The guy says...
If I were running the sport, I would change it because I would run it like a business.
He would run it like a business. To which, okay, bye. That's the WFP. We already have that. That is not the answer at all, in my opinion. I like the idea of not knowing every single detail, every single movement, every single rep scheme before the athletes have to go out there and do it. That's what's exciting about it. But then, like Angelo says, like, We know there's going to be some sort of clean ladder or snatch ladder, or we know there's going to be running. We do know a lot. You know a good majority of the movements. The fact that you might not know one or two movements or the full structure of every single workout, no, that's WFP. So I don't like that idea. Dave Castro also posted this to his story. He's apparently reached out to Danielle Brandon a handful of times and is getting no response, which is crazy. I wouldn't think she would ghost him, especially since he had just talked about in one of the behind the scenes of testing that she, texts him and was asking about workouts, which I figured was just a joke. Like, she knows Dave's not going to tell her the workouts, but maybe she got mad that he read the text on the video. I don't know. Danielle Brandon was on Fox News. She was at the USO supporting the Navy. They had an interview with her.
It's America's 250th birthday. You're out here celebrating at the Intrepid, and you've got some activities planned with soldiers. Can you tell me a little bit later what you're planning on doing later?
Well, right now we're here at the USO, and we're just supporting the Navy, and I'm here with Monster, and we're just kind of representing fitness and, just trying to show what fitness can do for not only the military, but just your life, and, endorsing a fitness and healthy life.
Happy Independence Day, a very special one, the 250th anniversary.
God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen,